Shaq here, spinning fast-acting pain relief with Icy Hot. Ice works fast, heat makes it last. Icy Hot, you're so back.
Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar. Zero patience for slow walkers. Those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night. Have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
Have you heard about Hyphenly from Immigrantly Media? It's a curated roundup of books, articles, music, podcasts, and other interesting things we think you'll love, delivered straight to your inbox. Subscribe to Hyphenly. The link to the newsletter is in the show notes. And now to today's episode. It's a hot June day in Austin, Texas. The Moody Center, which usually hosts major sporting events and live concerts, is packed with thousands of spectators, most of whom have traveled hundreds of miles to watch this tournament. A giant screen dominates the center of the arena. Two massive action figures loom on either side. The energy is overwhelming. There are pulsing lights, the crowds are roaring, commentators are analyzing the conditions of each team. The spectacle feels just like any traditional sporting event, but very few people on the streets outside are even aware of what's happening here today.
This is day 2 of the quarterfinals. We're on the red carpet. I feel like a superstar because these guys make me feel like a superstar.
It's the second day of the quarterfinals, and the Blast TV Counter-Strike Major is about to kick into high gear. Until a few years ago, this kind of crowd would have been difficult for an eSports tournament to pull in. But today, popular gaming events like the Blast TV Major have impressively high productions and ticket sales to rival any established sport. And this event in Austin is about to set a special record. With 76.1 million total hours watched, it'll soon become the most watched Counter-Strike tournament in history. But that's not the only interesting thing about this event. The two teams about to compete for a spot in the semifinals take their place on the stage. On the left is the FaZe Clan, and on the right is a little-known team that has come out of nowhere and taken the world of Counter-Strike by storm. The Mongolz, hailing from Mongolia. Their presence here today is more significant than you might think. You see, Counter-Strike is far more popular in the West than it is in Asia, and even though the game has been played competitively for decades, it's rare for a team from any Asian country to make it this far. Yet the 5 members of this team defied the odds and fought their way to the quarterfinals of the biggest tournament for this game. What's about to go down is historic, and the audience filling up this arena knows it. Amid a sea of handmade posters, one reads, "Asian Counter-Strike is so back." Hey everyone, it's Kavitha Davidson, and welcome to another episode of Sportly. Each week we discuss lesser-known sports history, iconic events, notable athletes, and impactful moments on and off the field. Moments that all too often fall to the sidelines of history. Today, we're taking a look at the rising world of eSports and a specific team that is single-handedly putting Asia on the Counter-Strike map, the Mongolz.
This is what you have to break through if you're the Mongolz. A hostile crowd.
Let's start with the basics. What exactly is eSports?
So eSports has been around for decades, and you can basically think of it as formalized competitive play around computer games, whether that's consoles or even going back to the arcade days or PC gaming.
That was T.L. Taylor, professor of comparative media studies at MIT. And that formal part is really the key to today's esports. It's not just a group of friends getting together to compete in their mom's basements. It's organized, with teams, tournaments, prize pools, uniforms, even cheerleaders. Everything you'd expect from other sporting events. Esports has been around for some time now, but over the last decade or so, the phenomenon has really expanded globally. The International Olympic Committee is even set to hold the inaugural Olympic Esports Games in 2027. Counter-Strike 2, the game being played at the Austin Major, is among the most popular esports titles driving the industry's momentum.
This is Counter-Strike 2.
Along with other games like Valorant, League of Legends, and Fortnite. At a basic level, it's a first-person shooter with 2 opposing teams of 5 players each. To win a match, you need to win 13 rounds. And you win a round either by eliminating the opposing team or completing your objective, which in this case is to detonate or defuse a planted bomb. While esports at large found its beginnings in countries like South Korea and China, the game Counter-Strike is largely dominant in the West. Which brings us to the Mongolz, rising stars in the Counter-Strike world who are putting their nation and continent on the map. So who are the Mongolz? Well, there's just 5 of them. Blitz, Techno4K, 910, Mzinho, and Senzu, and they're coached by Mara. For the record, those are their gamer tags, not their real names. They're exceptionally accomplished in the game, more so than any other Asian team. Just last month, they reached their first final at an international major.
The bigger they are, the harder they fall, and the more it means for the Mongols.
It's a level of success that fans of Counter-Strike back in Mongolia have been waiting decades for. So needless to say, the Mongols are adored back home. Just take a look at the crowded tournament watch parties or the many fan-made TikTok edits. But unlike most traditional sports, esports don't revolve around national teams, flags, or anthems. Professional teams often have members from many different countries. So how did these 5 players rise to the top of a scene where Asian teams have long been overlooked and outmatched? What does their triumph mean for the future of Counter-Strike esports? And how does a team like the Mongols manage to bring local pride into a borderless gaming culture? Let's go back in time, before the Mongols made it big. It's an early morning in Darkhan, a small city in northern Mongolia. Usuk Bayar Banzrak hops on a southbound train. After 4 or so hours, he arrives at a cafe in the nation's capital, Ulaanbaatar. But he's not here for the coffee. Rows and rows of computers line the space. This is an internet cafe, a popular place to get online in places where access to the internet at home might be limited. Looking around, there are lots and lots of young people. Some, like Banzrak, have traveled here from the far reaches of the country. Banzrak hands in the equivalent of $10 and takes a seat at an empty computer. He's not here to check emails or watch YouTube videos. He's here to compete. In Mongolia, internet cafes are often the hosts of underground gaming tournaments. You put in $10, and if you win, you get all the prize money. If you lose, you walk away with nothing. For Banzrak, that means finding another way to pay for a $16 ticket back to Darkhan. Fast forward to today, and Banzrak, also known as 910, is doing a little better for himself as one of the Mongol star players. In many ways, he represents the trajectory of esports, from humble beginnings to the global stage. Just a couple decades back, esports wasn't so glamorous. It was more like what you might expect. Crowds of ridiculously skilled gamers gathering to see who was the best in low-key cafes or gaming centers. But esports quickly grew into more, as those gamers began wanting more. The ability to play professionally, to win more than just a few bucks, and to gain a national or even global following. 910 is one of those gamers. Eventually, his talent would catch the eye of Mongolian esports teams like Red and Born in Mongolia, And in 2023, he'd wind up on the Mongolz, a team that had just recently gotten back on its feet. How did he and his teammates go from scrappy teenagers with a passion for gaming to some of the most well-known and respected esports professionals in the world? Let's fast forward a couple of years.
What does every USAA member have in common? Family. We're one big family who supports the military community and their eligible families. And if you, your parent, or spouse served, you could join our family and save big on auto insurance. Visit USAA.com/join today to check your eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
It's March 22nd, 2022. We're back in the capital of Mongolia for the Spring 22 edition of the Mesa Nomadic Masters, a Counter-Strike tournament between Asian teams. It's a big day for the Mongolz. You see, although they've technically been competing since 2015, they haven't seen much success, especially at upper-tier competitions like the majors. And like much of the esports community, they've been pretty much out of commission since the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, they've sought to come back bigger and better than ever. Today is a chance to do just that, to assert themselves as a rising team in Counter-Strike. They're not off to the best start. First, they fall to NKT, a team from Thailand, 16-13. Then they're able to pick up a win against Fire, which is from Singapore, 16-7. But they fall once again, losing to fellow Mongolian team D13 in their final match of the tournament. Their lackluster showing leaves them tied for 5th at the tournament. And unfortunately for the Mongolz, the next 6 months or so will have a string of disappointments. At the rest of their ranked tournaments for the year, they managed just one first-place showing at an upper-tier event. Come October, the team disbands, and it looks like it might all be over for good. That is, until IHC eSports, Mongolia's top team, comes into the picture. IHC is another Mongolian-based Counter-Strike team, and unlike the Mongolz, they've been experiencing some success throughout 2022, winning a highly competitive tournament back in April. But in a surprise move, surprising even to their own management, nearly their entire lineup quits in 2023. Their next move? Forming a new team under the Mongolz name. And at their first event under the new name, the Paris Major Asia RMR, they finished second, their best result ever at a regional major. The Mongolz quickly start gaining steam with strong showings at other highly competitive tournaments in Shanghai and Melbourne. But perhaps no event speaks more to the remarkable rise of the Mongolz than last month's Austin Major. So let's go back to Austin. It's day 2 of the quarterfinals, and the Mongolz face their biggest test yet in a matchup against the much more decorated FaZe Clan.
Are you about ready to see FaZe?
Reaching the semifinals at a major would be no small feat for any team, but especially an indie team out of Asia with no major backing. Not to mention, this isn't just any old major. With 34 teams and a $1.25 million prize pool, it's really a watershed moment for Counter-Strike esports. A major hasn't been held in North America since 2018. That was the Boston E-League major. So it's a real sign of esports growing ubiquity, from the internet cafés of South Korea to the very same arena that's hosted the San Antonio Spurs, UFC, and Harry Styles. Ahead of the Austin Major, local leaders made clear that they hope to cash in on the esports momentum by hosting it in their city. Here's Austin's mayor, Kirk Watson.
I want to do one last thing, and that's declare today, June 22nd, 2025, as Blast TV Austin Major Day in Austin, Texas.
And they certainly did cash in. Within a mere 6 hours of going live, the 40,000-person event sold out, with each ticket going for at least a couple $100. It's the biggest stage the Mongols have played on, and although they've made it this far, today's match will be a steep climb. Their opponents, the FaZe Clan, are among the most prolific eSports franchises in the world. They're also among the most popular, touting nearly 10 million YouTube subscribers. And they're a US-based team with an American player, Elige, so the Americans in the crowd are fired up. And to top it all off, the Mongols lost to FaZe Clan less than a week earlier. So it's safe to say the pressure is on for the Mongols. Can they do it?
Hello, Austin! Come on!
In Counter-Strike, each map is a virtual arena full of obstacles that players have to conquer. This major is a best of 3. So to advance, the Mongols need to win 2 out of the 3 maps. As the first map kicks off, FaZe Clan comes out swinging, but the tides turn fast, and the Mongols claw their way to a 13-9 victory.
Carrigan goes down. Mongols take map 1. The bigger they are, the harder they fall, and the more it means for the Mongols. This is only 1 map, but this is where they've struggled.
And just like that, they're halfway there. If they can take the next map, they'll win the match and move on to the semifinals. The second map kicks off, and it's a slugfest. The teams trade rounds back and forth, neither willing to let the other break away.
Even with a crowd of 10,000 screaming against you, the Mongols do not crumble.
The Mongols eventually get a lead of 11 rounds to 9, putting them on the precipice of a major upset. But FaZe Clan has an answer.
They're into the site! The hard part done! Just as hope was starting to be lost.
The bomb detonates and FaZe takes the round, leading to cheers from the friendly crowd.
A glimmer of hope. And that's what Austin wants to see. This is what you have to break through if you're the Mongols. A hostile crowd. Preying on your downfall.
With momentum on their side, FaZe takes another round, tying it at 11 all.
And the Moody Center makes a collective wish for a third map.
But then the Mongols respond, going up 12-11. One more round, they win this map and the match.
For the Mongols, on the cusp of making history.
Within minutes, the Mongols take out 4 of the FaZe Clan, leaving only 1 player to bring them back from the brink. And he can't do it.
And it's only rain! And he's not got it in him! He hasn't got it in him! Mongols have done it! They slay the old gods in this...
And just like that, the Mongols have made history as the first Mongolian team to reach a major semifinal.
They've had their heartbreak, and now they hand Austin one. They remove the fan favorites in 2-0 fashion, individuals playing their game, their way.
Their next match, against Pain Gaming, will determine if they reach their very first final. And it's pretty much a cakewalk. They take 2 maps back-to-back, 13-5 each. When it's time to take on Team Vitality in the final match of the tournament, the Mongols have gained an entirely new image. What was a hostile crowd is now all in on the Mongols and their underdog story, so much so that they boo Team Vitality at the final match. But unfortunately for the Mongols, all that love isn't enough to overcome their stacked opponents. Though they are able to take the first map 13-5, they lose the next 2 13-4 and 13-6, and finish second at the Austin Major. But while Team Vitality may have taken the title, the Mongols have accomplished the extraordinary, toppling the big bad FaZe Clan and making history for their country in the process. The Mongols have ignited a wave of national pride. Just a few months earlier, they were officially recognized as the national Mongolian eSports team by the Minister of Culture, Sports, Tourism, and Youth, bringing them benefits like salaries, expedited travel visas, and even a state-sponsored training facility. As the Minister of Sports said, quote, "The Mongols are our ambassadors, showing that Mongolia can be strong not only in wrestling, but also in esports. If it weren't apparent before, it's clear now. the Mongolz are playing for more than just themselves. Today, they're ranked among the top 3 teams globally and have direct invites to major events. And their achievements have inspired the formation of many new Counter-Strike teams across the country and the continent, and have shown the world that a small team from Mongolia can reach the finals of a major tournament and realistically compete for a title. The Mongol success story points to new possibilities in an ever-globalizing eSports landscape, one in which teams can carry the weight of a nation, even in a borderless gaming world. Thanks for tuning into Sportly. Tune in next week and every week after for a new episode. And if you have thoughts or suggestions for a topic you'd like me to cover, I'd love to hear from you. Please feel free to email me at kavitha@immigrantlypod.com. And if typing a long email isn't your thing, record and attach a voice memo to your email. Sportly is an Immigrantly media production. This episode was produced by Shay Yu and Paroma Chakravarti. Executive producer is Sadia Khan. Written by Nicholas Black and me, Kavitha Davidson. Fact-checking by Joseph Ruelas. Our sound designer and editor is Paroma Chakravarti. Our theme music was created by Simon Hutchinson. Other music by Epidemic Sound. Tune back in next week for more Sportly.